So hello everyone. I'm here to talk to you about digital and web literacy in the Arab world and why it matters. I guess most of you would agree that we live in an increasingly digital world. We're surrounded by technology everywhere. Our whole lives are on the internet. So much personal data about us is on the internet. And the content out there that you can find in every possible field that you can imagine is growing and growing. Although I'm very sad, and this figure makes me really sad, this is the percentage of the Arabic content on the internet worldwide. It's 3%. For a language which is so widely spoken, this is a ridiculous number. As an example, you have Wikipedia figures. On Wikipedia, you have Dutch, which is the third ranked language when it comes to number of articles. Dutch is spoken by 16 million people in the world, basically the population of Netherlands. Arabic, which is spoken by 350 million people over the world, has no more than 200,000 articles on Wikipedia and is ranked 25th. I guess we can do something to reverse that trend and to make Arabic content on the web rise to a masterclass level, quantity and quality-wise. And in order to do this, a good way, according to me, and to many other people, hopefully, is to target kids from a very young age. Yes, those digital natives who you might think do not need any education when it comes to technology. Well, the truth is they do. And they need it on two levels. Basic principles of the web, teaching them how all of that works, and some coding. Very fun, simple coding. That should not count. Let's just reflect for a moment at what we teach in the quote-unquote computer science courses at high school or middle school level in most Arab countries. Basically, text processing and spreadsheets, which, to be honest, are incredibly boring, especially for kids. And yes, what would a good presentation be without a lolcat, of course. So what if instead of those extremely boring and not so useful courses about text processing, we could teach them something way more useful for them? Because as we live in a digital world, it becomes being literate in a digital world helps you negotiate the world you live in. Because basically, you're surrounded by, you have the smartphones that we keep looking at, that have basically all our lives there. So it becomes really important to understand it's more useful to do it. Second, it's way more fun. Because as the web becomes an integrated part of different areas, of different fields, you can make science more fun. You can make some digital art with very simple computer programs. And third of all, it teaches kids algorithmic thinking. And algorithmic thinking is not some abstract mathematical concept. It is more of a way to look at problems. And to actually, when you face a problem, you break it down into steps and you try to find a solution. You don't just state it and complain about it and say, okay, this is a problem, we're fine. So teaching algorithmic thinking actually builds problem solvers and people who seek in their daily lives to solve problems. And in order to solve those problems, they try to build things. Taking building blocks of the web, yes, those Legos, and make them into something more meaningful. And when you have a kid actually build something, whether something very simple, like an image, to remix an image, to make a meme, memes are so popular today, to remix a video, to make just his first web page, you actually can introduce some more complex concepts, like copyright. You can say to a kid, okay, you've made this is incredible, this is great. What if another kid took it and used it somewhere else and didn't tell you about it. Would that feel all right for you? Is that okay? Would that make you happy, sad, angry? And here you go. We just introduced a very complex subject today that we're discussing today on the web to a 10-year-old or 15 years old. So all of these, problem solving, being a maker, and actually being proactive about it, to me, build superheroes. Yes, I'm not even exaggerating. Having that feeling of self-worth and self-confidence when you actually have something like a prototype, something very simple, discovering the first time you type that hello word into and have the computer screen actually showcase it is an incredible moment. And truly, this builds a whole generation of superheroes. So with all this, and now that we've answered the question why this is important, how are we going to implement this in the Arab region? So the first step, since this is a global trend and so many people are pushing for it all over the world, the first step is not to reinvent the wheel. To actually look at the initiatives already existing worldwide and to localize them. Think globally, but make something that has a sense locally. The background, the culture, and the language, of course. Translating is an important part of it, like actually getting the project, the software in Arabic, but it's just part of it. Let me show you an example of what it truly means to localize an existing project. This is a popcorn video of a Shakespeare's play, Macbeth. And basically, popcorn is a tool to remix videos made by Mozilla. And it's actually very interactive. You have to see it in action to realize what it does. But it makes it way more fun and easier for kids to learn the hard words that are in the play, etc. This is a great tool and awesome for learning. But as a kid from our region, it doesn't make any sense to me. I mean, I will never reach a level where I will be studying Macbeth at high school or at middle school. What if we could have this with an Arab play? Whatever makes sense for every country. Wouldn't that be cool? That what it means is to localize the tool. It means to make it in a way that it has a sense locally for the people that are actually using that software. Now that you actually localize the tools, make them into Arabic and make them have a sense, you have to actually teach them, right? You have to use that tools eventually and to get them to kids. And the way we do that is workshops. Why workshops? Because trying to change the educational program already taught at school is too hard and takes too long for us to have an impact. So basically, these are just small workshops at schools where you use the tools, teach them to kids. You would be amazed at the level of creativity there is in those very small sessions. What you can create in 3 hours or 2 hours working with kids. And that could actually make the teachers reflect about the programs they are teaching and wonder, maybe I should include some web technologies, very simple principle teaching in my curriculum. So now after all this, and you might tell me, well, this is all great, but I guess we have more important issues in the region. And I'd be a fool to argue otherwise. We do have more pressing issues in the region. But this is actually part of the solution. I personally believe, and this is from the very bottom of my heart, that one way for our countries to break through is to catch up on technology. And to do that via the web. Why using the web? Why via the web? Because the web is a resource that's available everywhere in the exact same manner. The web, the content you can consult from Lebanon is the same you can consult in Algeria and is the same you can access in the US. Of course, the speed is quite not the same, but still, it's the same content. And what resource do we have that's so equally distributed over so many different regions? So if we teach kids to actually be literate in a digital world, if we teach them that fourth literacy after writing, reading, calculus, we might actually have an enormous positive impact in our respective countries. Thank you.